And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Greedy, greedy. Well, this is a fun and exciting card dice game. What Greedy Greedy is it's a game which is based on another game that I played called Greed, which I'm sure is based on a public domain game where you're basically rolling dice and you score some dice and then you keep going on. But if you ever can't score any dice in your turn, then you've lost. And this adds a deck of cards to that game. Let's take a look and we'll be back. Greedy Greedy is made up of cards and dice. Now, the dice is the focus of the game, so let's talk about the dice first. Each turn you're going to flip a card over, then you'll roll dice. When you roll dice, you're looking to see what you have scored in your roll. Now, for the purpose of this game, 1s and 5s are scoring dice. So I rolled a 5, so that's 100 points. I can set that aside, and I may re-roll the rest of my dice, or I can stop. If I re-roll the rest of my dice, I need to score with at least one of them. There's another 5, so now I have 200 points. And I had a 1, but I can re-roll that one even if I don't want to. And now I've rolled no scoring dice, two 2s, a 3, and a 6, so I lose everything. So why would you re-roll dice, you might say? Because I'm trying to get 3 of a kind on the same roll. Not 2 that I've set aside, then the third one, but if I can roll 3 of a kind on the same roll, like 3 5s, that's worth 500 points. If I roll 3 3s, that's worth 300 points. And if I roll 3 1s, well, that's not going to be 100 points. Instead, that's 1,000 points. The other great roll is getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So another example of rolling, I roll here. I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6. Too bad I didn't roll the 5. That would have scored 1,500 points. But I'll set the 1 aside, and I can go again. And I've rolled 2 more 1s and 3 3s. What a great roll. Because this is 300 points. That's 1, 2, 300 points. I have 600 points. I've rolled all the dice. I can stop now and take my 600 points. Or I can roll again. I would draw another card, roll my dice, and I have to score. I got a 5. And now I have 700 points. I could stop. But I want to get some more points. I roll. I got another 1. That's 2 more 1s. That's 800, 900 points. I'll roll again. 10, 11, 12. I went through twice. I'm going to bank it all in another roll. Oh, triple 1s, another 1,000 and 2 5s. I probably should stop. But I won't. I'll roll again. And I roll a 2. Scored nothing on my roll, and I lose everything. Okay, that's dumb. But, I mean, I could have got a lot of points. Now, when you turn over the top card of a deck, this card is going to give you different abilities, whatever happens on it. For example, here. Opportunity. Add 200 to your score for every 100 points you bank on this card. So if I score 600 points, this will give me 1,200 extra points. You never know what a card might be. This one here says I have to get at least 500 on this card. If I do so, all my foes will lose 200 points each. Here, if for every 5 or 6 I roll, my opponents get 100 points. Here, when I turn this one over, I lose a turn and lose 500 points. What? Stupid card. Here I turn this one over. If I bank on this card, I get 300 extra points. And so the cards are going to give you different things. Now you can see these cards are not the greatest of quality. In fact, they slide off each other. But some are like fun. Greed, if you roll through it, it means you score on all 5 dice, you get 1,000 extra points. Or here, if you roll through, you can have your opponent fall asleep. So you have to be careful. Sometimes the cards will have a decision. Here, I can take 1,000 points plus my roll. Or I can skip my roll and just steal 400 points from each other player. And that's basically the way the game is. You turn over a card, see whatever it says, and then roll. If you roll through, you can turn over another card, etc. The first person to get 10,000 points is the winner. Greedy, greedy. Well, I wasn't a real big fan of the original game of Greed. I mean, it's just luck. It's all about pushing your luck to some degree. When you roll 6 dice, the chance of you getting a 1 or a 5 or 3 of a kind isn't that bad. In fact, you have a pretty good chance. So you could score every turn if you want. And games like this, I always have a lot of personal fun pushing my luck as far as I can go, which sometimes really works out well, and most of the time, though, will bomb out on you. The cards, on the other hand, add a different dimension to this game, and in this time, most people are just going to hate it. I mean, if you turn over a card that says, lose 500 points in your turn, what did you do? I mean, this harkens back to just the really bad game design that's plagued our board games for the last century. We've had games that are kind of breaking out of this mold. This one's like taking us a step back. The cards are uneven at best, terribly unbalanced at worst. Do they add fun? Well, it all depends. I played this with some teenage boys, and they thought it was one of the most fun things they had played in a long time. And we all got into it, standing up, rolling the dice. Come on, give me a 1, give me a 5. You know, trying to score these things. But when the day comes down to it, it was really all luck. Now, does that mean it's not fun? Well, I'm not going to trash it because we had a good time. But it really isn't a good game. You can have a fun time with it, just like you can have a fun time with any activity. But I wasn't very impressed with it. The packaging makes it look like it comes from 1950. The game itself feels like it comes from 1950, and the cards I don't think add enough to the game to make it worthwhile. Not to mention they weren't very good quality and sliding off. It was just kind of a mess. Even the dice weren't that good of quality. So if you want to play this game where you try to get to 10,000 points, whatever version you're playing, you don't need this version. You can just grab some dice and play it that way.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Yeah.